What up, world? It is April 28th, and we are looking at everybody's favorite GME, the meme stock. It was getting all kinds of excitement on Twitter today for the run that it went on, going to the moon and all. So we're going to take a look at how you could have played it if you were so inclined to day trade it, and where I got in, where you could have gotten in, and where you wanted to get out in order to be successful. So first things first, we're going to take a look at the daily chart. Yesterday's candle was a yellow candle. I know it looks green, but it was indeed a yellow candle. It started higher, it went lower. So throughout after hours and pre-market yesterday and this morning, we could tell that this was gapping down. So a yellow candle gapping down automatically means it's a bearish retest gap. So we know that at some point, maybe not immediately, it is going to retest this gap though. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, let's fade this higher. So let's go intraday here, 5 minute, and kind of see how that would look if you wanted to jump in and day trade this. So beginning of the day, pre-market, you can see, hour or so before we opened, we had a nice consolidation here. You had a really strong resistance line and a really strong support line. Essentially, lots of indecision. Whichever way it was going to go, that's what way it was going to go. So we were hoping that it would just break up and go. Unfortunately, right before open, it ended up tapering down, and so we ended up going lower. Very first candle, very interesting candle. Doji, long wick, meaning it got pushed down. A lot of people got pushed up. I'm very interested in this depending on what this second candle is. I'd like to see this go higher and be green. At that point, my buy-in would be the retest on this next candle here. Unfortunately, it did go higher, but it pushed lower. So I nixed that, not interested anymore. Come back later. We got a bunch of yellow candles, red candles, whatever you want to call them. We pushed down to where we finally started getting a little reversal here. You got a doji, meaning indecision. So we're a little bit interested. What's going to happen next? I drew this line here because we had this big yellow candle. We want to see this break above that and close before I really get interested in wanting to play anything here. Want all these people to be trapped and looking to buy because they're scared and trying to cover. So 40 minutes go by or so. We do eventually break above here and close. Above VWAP, we got some consolidation. You can see we had another doji. This is the first part where I really start to get interested. Indecision here, I'm thinking, okay, if this breaks above this, odds are it's going to go. If it breaks below, odds are it's going to go down. So we had this green one. It did break above it. The next one gapped down here. Finally, we break above and close. So my buy-in, the retest of that, above that resistance line right there. Stop loss gonna go somewhere below, kind of down in this area right here, and then we're just gonna look to run it. Now if you didn't get in there, you had a second opportunity right here where we had a nice little morning star situation. I know this is yellow, but still did work out very nicely. Big yellow candle, hammer, green candle. My buy would have been around this area right here somewhere. Wanting to buy that as we push higher. If you didn't, you could have grabbed there, rode it higher. Okay, the next spot you could have got in was this line, which was our original resistance of pre-market. At this point, you've got a hammer, you've got a doji. If it goes above this, you've got to be in. You've got to be in right here. So breaks above, you're going to buy either up here. You're going to buy the retest down here when we open. You did kind of get a gap. You'd hope that we get a little bit retest, but you got to be jumping in there. Okay. Now we ran it up to the top, and here is your signal to get out. We have a lot of buying volume. We've got a shooting star up here at the top, which means a wick up. That is your signal probably to jump out. That is where I jumped out. It did end up kind of re-pushing back up to that spot. I think it did actually go a little bit higher here. But I had already been out at that point. But that is how you could have played GME if you wanted to and were so inclined.